In the vast timeline of history, the era of ancient Egypt stands out as one of the most intriguing, a time and place where human civilization took a leap forward, building monumental structures that have survived millennia and etching their stories in stone for all of posterity. The dawn of ancient Egypt takes us back nearly 5,000 years, to an era known as the early dynastic period. This was a time when Upper and Lower Egypt were unified under the rule of a single monarch, the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh was not just a king or queen, but a divine entity, straddling the realms of both gods and men. The Old Kingdom, the age of pyramid building, followed the early dynastic period. This was a time when pharaohs like Khufu and Khafre commissioned the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza, colossal tombs that stand as a testament to their power and ambition. The Middle Kingdom, often referred to as the classical age of ancient Egypt, was marked by political stability, economic prosperity, and a flourishing of arts and literature. The New Kingdom, however, was the zenith of ancient Egyptian civilization. It was an era of powerful pharaohs who extended Egypt's influence far beyond its borders. They built vast temple complexes and brought wealth and prosperity to their kingdom. Integral to all these periods was the Nile River, the lifeblood of ancient Egypt. It was the Nile's annual floods that made the surrounding lands fertile, allowing civilization to flourish in an otherwise arid desert. The river was also a vital trade route, connecting Egypt with the wider world. Another significant aspect of ancient Egypt was its written language, the hieroglyphics. These intricate symbols, carved onto stone or painted onto papyrus, allowed the ancient Egyptians to record their history, their beliefs, and their everyday life. In this fascinating backdrop of history, a remarkable figure emerges, a woman who would become pharaoh, Hatshepsut. Born into royalty, Hatshepsut was no stranger to the corridors of power. In the heart of ancient Egypt, she first opened her eyes as the daughter of King Thutmose I and Queen Ahmose. This royal lineage placed her in the midst of power and politics from her earliest breath. Hatshepsut's childhood was steeped in the rich tapestry of Egyptian court life. She was raised in a world of grandeur and intrigue, surrounded by the symbols of authority and the whispers of statecraft. Her father, Thutmose I, was a formidable ruler, extending Egypt's empire with his military campaigns. Her mother, Queen Ahmose, was a revered figure, a guiding light in the complex maze of courtly politics. Growing up in the royal court, Hatshepsut was privy to the machinations of power. She watched, she learned, and she prepared. She was not just a princess, she was a pupil, absorbing the lessons that would shape her future reign. As a royal, Hatshepsut's life was destined to be entwined with the fate of Egypt. When her father passed away, Hatshepsut's life took an unexpected turn. The death of Pharaoh Thutmose I marked a pivotal moment in the history of ancient Egypt. With his demise, the mantle of power was passed on to his son, Thutmose II, Hatshepsut's half-brother and husband. Now Hatshepsut was no ordinary woman. She was a queen, and not just any queen, but the great royal wife, the highest-ranking queen in the land. But as fate would have it, Thutmose II was not destined for a long reign. His health was frail, and his time on the throne was short-lived. His passing left the throne to his son, Thutmose III, who was but a mere child at the time. And here's where Hatshepsut steps into the limelight. She assumed the role of regent, acting as the guiding hand behind the throne, making decisions on behalf of young Thutmose III. However, Hatshepsut was not one to be content with a supporting role. She was a woman of ambition, courage, and intelligence. Realizing that her stepson was too young to rule effectively, she took matters into her own hands. She proclaimed herself as the co-regent of Egypt, sharing the throne with Thutmose III. But even that wasn't enough for our audacious queen. In a bold move that broke centuries of tradition, Hatshepsut ascended to the role of pharaoh, the supreme ruler of ancient Egypt. She adopted the full titulary of a pharaoh, presenting herself in the traditional royal regalia of a male king, complete with a false beard, a symbolic representation of pharaonic power. It was an unprecedented step, one that asserted her authority and marked her place in the annals of history. But Hatshepsut wasn't content with being a queen, she was destined to be a pharaoh. And as we will see, her reign was one of prosperity and progress, a testament to her remarkable leadership, and a legacy that outlived her, echoing through the corridors of time. As pharaoh, Hatshepsut embarked on a reign that was both prosperous and peaceful. Hatshepsut, the first female pharaoh of Egypt, was a ruler who defied convention. Her reign, which spanned 2 decades, was characterized by a focus on economic policies, grand construction projects, and maintaining peaceful relations with other nations. Hatshepsut's economic policies were masterful. She understood the importance of trade and commerce in strengthening Egypt's position in the world. Under her guidance, Egypt embarked on significant trading expeditions to far-off lands, including the fabled land of Punt. These expeditions brought back a wealth of goods, from gold and ivory to exotic animals and incense trees. These successful ventures not only enriched the kingdom, but also bolstered Egypt's international reputation. But Hatshepsut's accomplishments were not limited to economic wins. She also left a tangible mark on Egypt through her ambitious construction projects. She commissioned hundreds of construction projects throughout Egypt, enhancing its architectural landscape and providing employment to thousands of artisans and laborers. Of all her building endeavors, Hatshepsut's mortuary temple stands out. Nestled into the cliffs at Deir el-Bahari, this grand monument to her life and reign is a testament to her vision and tenacity. This temple, adorned with reliefs depicting her successful expedition to Punt and her divine birth, served as her funerary monument and was a place of worship. What's fascinating about Hatshepsut's reign is how she navigated her role as a female pharaoh in a patriarchal society. She cleverly used art and iconography to solidify her position. In sculptures and paintings, she was often depicted as a male pharaoh, complete with the traditional false beard and kilt. This portrayal was not an attempt to deny her femininity, but rather a strategic move to align herself with the established image of a pharaoh, and thus ensure her acceptance by the people and the priesthood. In terms of foreign policy, Hatshepsut chose diplomacy over warfare. Her reign was one of peace and prosperity. She established strong relations with other nations, which furthered Egypt's economic and political interests. While her peaceful reign may not have left tales of epic battles and conquests, it allowed Egypt to flourish culturally and economically without the devastation of war. Hatshepsut's reign was one of prosperity and stability, leaving a lasting legacy on Egypt. Her reign is a testament to her visionary leadership and her ability to challenge and change established norms. She was a ruler who understood the power of trade, the importance of monumental architecture, and the value of peace. She skillfully navigated her way through a patriarchal society, proving that a woman could rule as effectively as a man. Hatshepsut's reign was one of prosperity and stability, leaving a lasting legacy on Egypt. But all reigns must come to an end, and so did Hatshepsut's. The year was around 1458 BC when Queen Hatshepsut, the female pharaoh of Egypt, breathed her last. Her death marked the end of a remarkable era, an era that was characterized by prosperity, peace, and monumental architectural achievements. After her demise, the throne was passed on to Thutmose III, her stepson and co-regent. Thutmose III, often referred to as the Napoleon of Egypt, embarked on a series of military campaigns, expanding Egypt's empire to unprecedented levels. However, his reign also witnessed a systematic attempt to erase Hatshepsut's legacy. From defacing her statues to chiseling off her cartouches, Thutmose III tried to obliterate any trace of Hatshepsut's rule. But history has a way of preserving what's meant to be remembered. Centuries later, Hatshepsut's story was rediscovered by modern archaeologists. Her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, though damaged, stood the test of time, whispering tales of a queen who dared to be a king. The artifacts, the reliefs, the inscriptions, they all painted a picture of a powerful and respected leader. Hatshepsut's impact reverberated far beyond her time. She paved the way for later women rulers, showing the world that a woman could rule with as much power and wisdom as any man. From Cleopatra of Egypt to Queen Elizabeth I of England, Hatshepsut's influence can be seen in the reigns of these formidable women leaders. Despite the attempts to erase her, Hatshepsut's story survived, her legacy endured. She continues to be a symbol of female empowerment, a beacon of hope for all women striving to make their mark in a male-dominated world. So, as we delve into the annals of history, let's not forget Hatshepsut, the queen who became a king, the woman who dared to defy conventions, who ruled not just with power, but with grace and wisdom too. Because in the end, in the annals of history, Hatshepsut remains a testament to the power and potential of women in leadership.